We still got another 2 weeks till NBA 2K25 drops, but they keep coming out with new information. So now there's a court side report for the My NBA and My GM court mode, and we're gonna be playing that a lot. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically like rebuilding teams, playing with your team against other teams using the schedule, all that stuff, doing fantasy drafts. Y'all should know about it. If you watch Click Productions, that's what that is. If you watch Kenny Beecham or KOT4Q. I think that's his channel name. That's what that is. Like, that's it. You get to take on the GM manager role or coach role, whatever you want to call it, for a team in the front office and stuff. And they made additions to that. So let's get into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Build the next great dynasty as a GM in 2K25 on new gen, calling all armchair GMs and keyboard coaches. That means like the people who always be like, oh, I wouldn't have made that trade, this and that. Build the next great dynasty. Test your ability to juggle the lofty expectations of an NBA fan base and team leadership while assembling a championship roster available on all the platforms. This year, we're giving you the power to create your own backstory and control the narrative surrounding your success. MyGM returns. This RPG franchise mode puts you in the role of an NBA team's general manager. You'll navigate roster building, managing your governors and team's expectations of you, and much more as you run a world-class championship NBA franchise. So you get a backstory. The last time we had the MyGM mode, I didn't get to experience it. I think that was like 2K23 or 22, something like that. Like, I never got to experience it. So it seems to be pretty cool from the videos I've seen, though. And then it's cool to have a backstory. So you get to be an ex-player, ex-scout, quaint. What's quaint? I don't know, capitalist and closer and custom. Like, what would I choose? What would y'all choose? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm patting my head because I just got my hair done, so don't think I'm going crazy. Pick a backstory. We have redesigned MyGM to be even more of a role-playing experience this year. When you start, you select a backstory. Are you an expert transitioning to the front office, an ex-scout experienced in identifying talent, a savant with finance savvy, a capitalist focused on making a splash with your deep connections, or a closer knowledgeable in the art of the deal? You can choose from these options or create your own backstory. Oh, really? You can create your own backstory? Your backstory determines your initial attributes, which in turn determine your baseline boost and lead to different playstyles for running your franchise as you navigate through conversations. For example, having many points committed to your offense would enhance your team's scoring prowess. While having many points dedicated to charisma will open up new conversation options to lead to a more diverse set of goals to target and some routes that can provide more XP. Here are all the attributes that make up your GM. Offensive coaching improves the team's offensive attributes, unlocks conversation options. Improves the team's defensive attributes, unlocks conversation options. Improves the team's training and reduce the impact of fatigue and injuries, unlocks conversation options. Improves team's attendance, once again unlocks conversation options. Affects trades, contract negotiations, and team morale for charisma, and analytics improves scouting, and then unlocks conversation options, as all of them do. Perks: as you complete goals, you will earn XP and level up to unlock more attribute points and new perks. While attributes offer broad benefits and affect conversation choices, perks are unique abilities that offer a dramatic boost to specific areas of your GM skills, both on and off the court. Each backstory starts off with a unique perk already equipped. Most levels will give you an additional attribute point. However, at levels 4, 8, 12, and 16, you will receive an additional perk. And once you hit the level cap of 20, you'll get 2 additional perks. Level 12 is another important level, as every backstory will be able to pick their exclusive ultimate perk. For example, if you're an ex-player, you'll start off with the former player perk. You can read the locker room and are able to relate to your players, so this gives you a team chemistry boost all the time and generally helps ensure that your team will be playing at its best. At level 12, you'll be able to select the Lionheart perk, which ensures your players start warm and your star player starts hot when facing elimination in the playoffs, bringing them closer to achieving takeover. NBA 2K25 is loaded with perks, with 55 available to choose from at launch and more to set to be availed through the year. When you begin your character creation, you'll be prompted to pick one of the 2 perks. Okay, well, here's all the MyGM perks. Deep bench players have attributes increased by 4, but the top players have all attributes lowered by 2. So this is, I don't know, this is like if you were to do a simulation, I don't know if you would want to do it in MyGM because it kind of is cheating if you have all those additional perks and stuff like that just to make your players better and your team better. Like overall, I feel like you wouldn't lose if you're like the best GM ever, but you got to become the best GM ever, right? Background perks: former player increases team chemistry, players start warm, and the star player is hot. X Scout works smarter, not harder. Improve the benefits of all analytics. You guys can look at all that. Just pause the video or take a picture. I'm not really gonna read all into that right now. Goals and conversations. A core part of MyGM is conversations with your staff and players as you manage everyone's needs and the goals they set for you. We are focusing on a smaller number of impactful conversations for a better experience rather than overwhelming you with constant chit chat requests. Okay. So you get chat points. Governor, well, obviously I want to win as many titles as possible. How many do you think you can get in the next 3 years? Damn. Imagine you the head coach of the Pistons. I'm the GM of the Pistons, and you got to tell them none. In the next 3 years, your backstory and attribute ratings can come into play during these conversations and unlock more paths by determining the dialogue choices you have available to you to respond in a way that best satisfies your goals. Perhaps your team's governor wants to give you a goal to win a championship this year. As you progress through the conversation, you will come to several choices on how to direct the conversation. You can be a yes man and agree to the monumental task, or decline and risk the governor's wrath. But if your charisma is high enough, you can go down a route where you set up easier goals, such as only making the conference finals. The routes unlocked by your attributes are always the best option based on your situation. But the harder the objective, the more experience you receive. It is in your hands to determine what your goals are and your unique style and strategy in conversation to shape your MyGM story. Brand new and on the platforms is the MyGM Building, a free roaming space where you can take control of your MyGM to carry out responsibilities as the brains of the team. Okay. When the governor or one of your staff members wants to have a conversation with you, you'll see a notification on the calendar or landing menus. Maybe the CFO needs to talk to you about cutting costs or managing public opinion, or the head coach wants to talk to you about a lineup change. You can then go into the MyGM Building and walk up to them to have a conversation in person for a more authentic experience. The rank mode from the previous NBA sides MyGM compete with others to see how quickly you hit level 20. If you get fired by your governor, it's game over. With so many options and ways to play, we'll make sure to have a ton of fun. Okay. Also, we got new eras for the franchise mode for the MyEras. That's dope. Eras in my NBA take you back in time to start your league during the greatest periods of history. Magic versus Bird, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron all return on the new GM along with the new Steph Era. So they calling this current era Steph Era? Or is that when KD went to Golden State? That's what they call the Steph Era? Okay. The Steph Era begins during the 2016 and 2017 season. You can relive the legendary Golden State Warriors with Steph, KD, Clay, and Draymond, or stop their legacy as they dominate the league. Yo, that seems to be fun. Because that era was a good era of basketball. Kawhi, it's crazy because Kawhi could have beat that Warriors team if Zaza didn't. How they say petite shot? If he didn't slide his foot under Kawhi. While the Warriors and Cavaliers, led by LeBron and Kyrie, were the heavyweight matchup year after year during this period. This is a historic era for many reasons. Former teammates James Harden and Russell Westbrook were thriving as solo artists, delivering MVP caliber performances on a near nightly basis. Harden powered the Rockets' record-breaking offense, and Westbrook joined Oscar Robertson as the only players to average a triple-double over the span of an entire season. Out in the East, Giannis started emerging as a superstar on the Bucks, and the Celtics were busy piecing together their pair of future NBA champions in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. The Steph Era boasts some of the greatest NBA superstars at their peak, with budding talents making a name for themselves. So this is gonna be a lot of fun new rebuilds to do in the eras, especially in the Steph Era. Around that time, like, can you make OKC a winner? Like, you could do videos like and I'm saying video ideas, but of course I'm gonna want to do them. Just simply like, what if Westbrook never left OKC, or what if Kevin Durant and Steph never switched up? Now you can do it easier time because the roster's gonna be set right there instead of people making their own rosters. MyGM includes a bevy of new and exciting features, but we have to make sure to give my NBA some love also. From the NBA Cup to streamline my staff management and more, take a look at the new updates. The NBA Cup, which debuted as the in-season tournament, now has more in-depth integration into my NBA modes. This tournament consists of a group play stage followed by single elimination knockout rounds, and on new gen, the NBA Cup now supports between 12 and 36 teams with dynamic groups that change from year to year as you simulate your future of the league. Okay, doesn't really, who cares about that really? And new GM on 2K25 introduces full fluidity to add or remove up to 6 teams to the league each and every offseason, rather than being limited to a total of 6 teams per save. Whether you want to accurately recreate the league's expansion boom in the 80s and 90s, or dramatically increase the size of the league in the modern era, this unlocks more possibilities to customize your MyNBA. When you start from a historical era, the way league news is delivered to you changes over time to authentically represent what it was like in each era. Previously, this stated as the 2K Times newspaper evolved into a web page 1.0 and finally became social. Yeah, that's already been a thing. In 2K25, we have added a new web page 2.0 format to bridge the gap in the late 2000s between the start of the internet and modern day social media. This web page 2.0 is designed to be reminiscent of how the NBA 2K game menus looked in 2K11. Hey, the NBA menus in 2K11 were fire too, so that's gonna look nice. Streamline my staff management. Previously, my staff had helped to 17 staff members surrounding your GM for you to fill and manage, but we noticed that this has been overwhelming for players. This year, my staff management is simplified to your governor, GM assistant, CFO, the head coach, head scout, and team doctor. I think that's smart. I don't really think it was overwhelming. It just didn't feel necessary. Like, I don't think anybody ever really cared about all those positions, because it was like, you had the shot doctor, you had big men coach, you had post defense coach, perimeter defense coach, 3-point specialist. Like, you had a whole bunch of different coaches for different stuff, and it just didn't make sense. So no one really cared. Instead of managing all the staff with these departments, you can hire bonus staff under each department as you need. Bonus staff are an easy way to boost the performance of a department without having to micromanage hiring and firing the extra staff. You want to make a big push in the playoffs, move the bonus staff to the head coach. Try to cash in on a ton of draft picks, move the bonus staff to the head scout. You have the flexibility to balance what you want out of the team, as well as any other task you might have playing MyGM. Closing remarks. Now that you have learned about all the updates, it's time to put them in practice. Assume the role of a GM in 2K25 and prove you have the knowledge and skills to create the next NBA dynasty. Whether you decide to add to the storied history of a franchise or do something that's never been done before, we can't wait to see you succeed. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the courtside reports with detailed breakdowns of pro play and the customization options available for my players and my career. So that's going to be it for my NBA and my GM. It seems like they just added a lot more to my GM mode because they brought it back. That looks exciting. We're probably going to have to get into that. And then, of course, the my NBA, which is the franchise mode, which we're going to be doing like the eras and what if videos and rebuilds and all that stuff. So I hope you guys are excited for that. Look forward to it, and I'll catch you in the next one.